Share with permission. Give me permission. Otherwise, I will, data related operations. So first, we are going to work with the data related operations. After finishing data related operations, we are going to work with the remaining part. So remaining part means what? Report creation. So two different tasks you are going to work in this Power BI desktop environment. And coming to next step. See, in Power BI, so plain, it's now basically data warehouse tool, that is clear. And it is used to analyze the data, creating report, that is also clear. That's what we discussed now. So coming to next step now. Suppose you take SQL Server. In SQL Server, we have different versions, right? In the same way, you take Windows operating system. There also we have different versions. So now, what are the versions available in Power BI? Especially, Power BI desktop. We have something like this: free version, pro version, premium version. So free version now we are using for our project purpose. Same way, pro version, premium version, these are paid versions. I mean, licensed. You have to pay the amount for working with those versions. Basically, pro version we use like when we work with the gigabyte size of the data, hundreds of the users, then we use pro version. Premium version, this is top end version of the Power BI. So next step, thousands of the users, terabyte size of the data. In that case, we're going to work with the premium version. So now coming to next scenario, how data stores in Power BI? What is the format? See, for example, you take Microsoft SQL Server, in that data stores in the form of tables. Right? If you go to Power BI, even in Power BI also data stores in the form of tables. Now, question from my end is, what is table? Anybody please, any idea? Table. That's correct. So table is collection of the columns and the rows. Okay, fine. Columns means what? Structure. Rows means what? Data. So coming to Power BI, we have some terminology. Structure, we call it as metadata. Rows, we call it as physical data. Right? And metadata and physical data. This is what the scenario. So don't forget terminology related scenarios, please. And coming to next step. So initially, we are going to copy data from source to Power BI. For example, here we have some source and this is our Power BI desktop. So data source, and this is Power BI desktop. So now here what type of operations we are performing? ETL related operations. Extraction, transformation, load. You are going to extract data from source, then transform it, and finally load it into Power BI desktop environment. That is what the ETL operation we are performing. Okay, that is fine. No issues. But the thing is, for example, there is some table products in the source. This table contains, suppose, 10 rows of the data. So you have metadata and physical data. Now, you're going to copy this table from source to Power BI. In this case, there are different scenarios like import and direct query. That means you can copy data from source to Power BI in two different ways. Okay. Import, direct query. So now the thing is, if you are going for import, what is that? Import. What happens, you are going to get complete table. Table in the sense metadata and physical data. Everything will be copied from source to Power BI. When it is, if you are using import. So there is some table. You want to copy table from source to Power BI. In that case, if you are using import, what happens? Complete table, physical data and metadata. Everything will be copied from source to Power BI. So generally, import can be used for any type of source, whether it is database or other source, any type of source we can use import. So coming to direct query, what happens, suppose you're copying table from source to Power BI, but you are using direct query. So what you are using direct query. In this scenario, only metadata will be copied from source to Power BI. But not physical data. What happens? Only metadata. That is direct query. And direct query can be used for only database. Suppose your source is database, then only you can use direct query. Otherwise, you cannot. Okay. Na? So here the thing is, suppose I'm using direct query. And only metadata is going to copy from source to Power BI. Then what about physical data? Where the physical data is going to store, tell me. Because not only metadata, we need physical data as well, right? Otherwise, how can you create report? Because what report contains, tell me? Report contains only physical data, right? That's my point, right? So, so where is physical data? See, suppose you are using direct query, then only metadata will be copied to Power BI. No physical data will be copied. Physical data will be there in the source. Okay. What happens, some continuous connection will be created between source and
Sir,
Power.
your voice is uh, it's not audible. Some kind of disturbance. Hello?
How is it now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Sir, yes, sir.
No, still same issue now, or it is working fine now.
Yeah, now it is audible.
There is some issue with this meeting. So now it's okay now, right?
Yes.
Right. So if you are using direct query, actual wait, this wait. My voice is clear or any issues, please, participants.
Yes, sir, now it's clear.
No issues now, right? How is it now? Is it okay now? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. It is audible.
Yeah, actually there is, it seems. Okay, right. And so now the thing is, this is the way like how we are doing this task. When we are working with Power BI direct query, data will be there in the source only. But why we are doing this one? Because if you are going for import, data will be copied into Power BI desktop, right? But if it is direct query, data is not going to copy. So when we are going to use this direct query, so general scenarios, we are using import only, no doubt. Okay. But sometimes what happens, we use direct query. Suppose you are copying large data sets, and frequently you're expecting modifications in the source. In that case, what happens, we are going to use this direct query. Otherwise, maximum we work with the import only. This is the point. Any questions from this area, please? Anybody? No questions? Right. So coming to next scenario, generally what happens, suppose initially we are working with copying data. That's fine. After that, suppose any modifications done in the source, then we have to copy even those modifications from source to Power BI. That we call it as refreshing. For example, you're using import. By using import, you copied data from source to Power BI. That means what happened? Physical data also copied because import, right? So after that, some modifications happened in the source. Then you need to copy those modifications from source to Power BI because you already copied physical data, right? Suppose you copied some table by using direct query from source to Power BI. Later, some modifications happened in the source. Then you no need to copy those modifications from source to Power BI because you copied only metadata, but not physical data. That's why, suppose initially you're copying some data from source to Power BI. Later, if you want to copy modifications, we use refresh. But if in the source, if the table is getting modified, modified regular intervals, regularly, in that case, you need to copy those modifications from your source to Power BI. Right? And from your source to Power BI. So in this scenario, better to go for direct query because if it is direct query, no need to copy modifications, right? That is the point. Of course, we are going to do this refresh and all practically from tomorrow onwards. This is just introduction only today. These points are really important for us. We are just in the beginning only. So any questions from this scenario, refresh concept, please, anybody? Right? So, right. This is the overall introduction of the Power BI. You please contact your training team. This is daily session and tomorrow onwards we are going to start regular class. Please contact your training team. They will give you access to installation videos, SQL Server installation and Power BI installation. If you face any issues, I will help you in installation part. Okay, na? But practical knowledge is important for us. So you are attending class, you are watching videos, then there will be no use. You should go for practice. It's mandatory for us. Because even in the office also practically we work, right? And these are really important scenarios. So please, if you want to go for practice, what we need installation. If there is no installation, then we cannot do anything practically. Okay. So now please complete that installation part and talk to training team and we'll meet tomorrow again. Okay. Right then.